This is Tony T here from TonySpicks.com with our free college football pick show. This will be week 9, part 4. We'll have the remaining 17 picks from these games here. So we got them all covered for you here for the Saturday card. If you're looking for more free pick videos, be sure to subscribe to our channel. And if you're looking for my best bets, my premium picks, click that link in the description and get on over there to TonySpicks.com. All right, let's get it started here. We begin here with Texas and Vanderbilt here, college football pick here for Saturday. Texas fell to 5-1 after their 30-15 home defeat to Georgia. The Longhorns gained 259 yards, 29 rushing on 27 carries. Defensively, they allowed 283 yards to the Bulldogs with 175 passing yards on 41 attempts. Quinn Ewers, 25 of 43 passing for 211 yards with 2 touchdowns and a pick. Vanderbilt now 5-2, a 24-14 home victory to Ball State. The Commodores put up 420 yards, 145 rushing for 3.9 yards a carry. On defense, they held the Cardinals to 268 yards, 78 rushing for 3.5 yards a carry. Diego Pavia, 17 of 31 passing for 275 yards with a touchdown. He rushed for 82 yards and a score. Vanderbilt in SEC play has completed 72% of their passes for 9.2 yards per pass attempt. Eventually, they hold SEC foes at 64% completion rate. The Longhorns are rushing for 4.6 yards a carry in conference with 7.1 yards per pass attempt. Commodores have a +6 turnover margin. Texas 2-4 to the spread on the road, facing teams that average 8 yards per pass attempt or higher. Play here will be on Vanderbilt at +19. Next up, UL Monroe and South Alabama college football pick. Saturday, UL Monroe now 5-1 with their 38-21 home win to Southern Miss. The Warhawks gained 432 yards, 246 rushing for 5.9 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 347 yards to the Golden Eagles with 182 rushing for 4.8 yards a carry. Aiden Armenta, 10 of 17 passes for 188 yards with 2 touchdowns. He rushed for 52 yards and a touchdown. South Alabama 3-4 with their 25-9 home win to Troy. The Jaguars put up 318 yards, 160 rushing for 4 yards a carry. Defensively, they held the Trojans to 172 yards with 36 rushing on 22 carries. Gio Lopez, 16 of 21 passing for 158 yards with a touchdown. He rushed for 67 yards and a score. The Warhawks have struggled in their road games with 2.9 yards per rush and getting inaccurate play at quarterback. On the road, they allow 5.1 yards per carry, 8 yards per pass attempt. South Alabama at home is a strong offensive team, putting up 6.3 yards a carry, 282 yards passing for 9.5 yards per pass attempt. Defensively at home, they limit foes to 2.4 yards a carry. The Jaguars have a +9 turnover margin. UL Monroe 6-9 of the spread as a run dog. Player will be South Alabama here at -7.5 points. New Mexico and Colorado State college football pick Saturday. Mexico improved to 3-4 after their 50-45 road win at Utah State. The Lobos gained 552 yards, 280 rushing for 5.5 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 503 yards to the Aggies with 360 passing yards on 47 attempts. Devin Dampier, 17 of 27 passing for 272 yards with 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. He rushed for 105 yards and 2 touchdowns. Colorado State 4-3. With their 21-13 road win at the Air Force, the Rams put up 406 yards, 205 yards rushing for 5.7 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 348 yards to the Falcons with 173 rushing for 3.2 yards a carry. Braden Fowler-Nicolosi, 11 of 21 passing for 178 yards and a touchdown. The Lobos on the road giving up 48 points per game as they allow 6.7 yards per run, 302 yards passing, 9.1 yards per pass attempt. Their offense numbers are good, but not greater than they give up here. Colorado State has defended well in conference, allowing 3.7 yards a carry, 57% completions allowed. Offensively, against the Mountain West Conference, the Rams rushed for over 5 yards a carry with over 65% completion rate, 9 yards per pass attempt. We got New Mexico 5-8 to the spread as a run dog. Play here will be on Colorado State here at -6. All right, next up we've got Florida State and Miami college football pick Saturday. Florida State fell to 1-6 after their 23-16 road loss at Duke. The Seminoles gained 291 yards, 162 rushing for 4 yards a carry. On defense, they held the Blue Devils to 180 yards with 70 passing on 24 attempts. Brock Glenn, he goes 9 of 19 for 110 yards and 2 interceptions. He rushed for 47 yards. Miami improved to 7-0 after their 52-45 road win at Louisville. The Hurricanes put up 538 yards, 219 rushing for 5.5 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 448 yards to the Cardinals with 342 yards passing on 51 attempts. Cam Ward here, 21 of 32 passing for 319 yards and 4 touchdowns. Florida State offensively has been poor against the ACC with 2.7 yards per rush, 52% completion rate. Defensively in conference, they allow 4.5 yards per carry with 60% completions, 7.4 yards per pass attempt. Miami offensively in conference has rushed for 5 yards a carry with 8.9 yards per pass attempt as they pile up 540 yards per game. But in their past 3 games, the Hurricanes are allowing 39 points and 404 yards per game. Opponents in this period are rushing for 4.9 yards and passing for 7.5 yards per pass attempt against them. The play will be Florida State and Miami over 54.5. Troy and Arkansas State college football pick. Saturday, Troy fell to 1-8 after their 25-9 road defeat to South Alabama. The Trojans gained 172 yards, 36 rushing on 22 carries. On defense, they allowed 318 yards in the game with 160 rushing yards for 4 yards a carry. Goose Crowder is now out for the season, so Matthew Caldwell under center went 17 of 30 for 142 yards with a touchdown and 2 interceptions. Arkansas State improved to 4-3. A 44-28 road win at Southern Miss. The Red Wolves gained 467 yards, 281 rushing for 7.2 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 367 yards to the Golden Eagles with 180 rushing for 3.8 yards a carry. Jalen Rayner, 20 of 31 passing for 186 yards with 3 touchdowns. Arkansas State has defended poorly this season by allowing 221 yards rushing, 5.6 yards a carry, 8.4 yards per pass attempt. Trojans holding opponents at 25 points per game, and in their past 3 games, they hold teams to 4.3 yards a carry. Red Wolves' defensive form makes it difficult to back here. Play here will be Troy at plus the 7.5. Utah and Houston college football pick. Saturday, Utah fell to 4-3 after their 13-7 home defeat to TCU. The Utes put up 267 yards, 68 rushing for 2.6 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 395 yards to the Horned Frogs with 263 passing yards on 41 attempts. Isaac Wilson, 17 of 33 passing for 199 yards with a touchdown and pick. Houston drops to 2-5, a 42-14 road defeat to Kansas. The Cougars posted 335 yards, 98 rushing for 3 yards a carry. Zion Chris, 3 of 4 passing for 26 yards and interception. Is listed as probable after injury to his hamstring in the Kansas game. Utah offensively against the conference has struggled with 4.1 yards per rush, 50% completion rate. They allow 4 yards per rush against the Big 12 and it's been effective defending the pass. The Utes have a -3 turnover margin. Houston against the conference running for 4.5 yards a carry and complete 67% of their passes. Utah 3-7 the spread on the road following a home game. Play here will be Houston plus the 4. Utah State and Wyoming college football pick. Saturday, Utah State fell to 1-6 after their 50-45 home defeat to New Mexico. The Aggies gained 503 yards, 143 rushing for 4.2 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 552 yards to Lobos with 280 rushing for 5.5 yards a carry. Spencer Petras, 32 of 47 passing for 360 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. He rushed for a touchdown in the game. Wyoming drops to 1-6 after their 24-14 road defeat to San Jose State. The Cowboys put up 366 yards, 56 rushing for 1.5 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 498 yards to the Spartans with 322 passing yards on 39 attempts. Evans Woboda goes 14 of 27 passes for 194 yards with a touchdown and pick. The Wyoming offense against the Mountain West is rushing for 3.5 yards a carry and is inaccurate in the passing game. Defensively in the conference, the Cowboys allowing 4.6 yards per run, 8.7 yards per pass attempt. Utah State, a very poor defensive team in conference. Offensively, though, they rush for 4 yards a carry and complete 68% of their passes for 398 yards passing per game. The Cowboys' offense is too poor to back here. Play here Utah State here minus the 1.5. West Virginia and Arizona college football pick Saturday. West Virginia drops to 3-4 after their 45-18 home defeat to Kansas State. The Mountaineers put up 295 yards, 152 rushing for 3.5 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 412 yards to the Wildcats with 298 passing on 29 attempts. Garrett Green is questionable with an upper body injury. Nico Markol hit 6 of 13 passes for 58 yards and a touchdown. He played in relief last week. He has struggled with accuracy and efficiency the past 2 seasons in a backup role. Arizona drops to 3-4, a 34-7 home defeat to Colorado. The Wildcats put up 245 yards, 107 rushing for 3 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 398 yards to the Buffs with 250 passing yards on 34 attempts. Noah Fafita, 16 of 26 passing for 138 yards with a touchdown and pick. West Virginia in their road games rushing for 5.2 yards to carry with 8.2 yards per pass attempt. Defensively away from home, they hold opponents at 2.3 yards a carry but allow 9.1 yards per pass attempt. Arizona in the Big 12 runs for only 3.9 yards a carry with only 5.9 yards per pass attempt. They are allowing 4.5 yards per rush to the conference foes, 7.5 yards per pass attempt. The Wildcats have thrown 10 interceptions this season. Arizona 1-3 of the spread as a home favorite of -7 or lower. Play here will be on West Virginia at plus the 3.5. Michigan State and Michigan college football pick Saturday. Michigan State improved to 4-3 with their 32-20 home win to Iowa. The Spartans gained 478 yards, 212 rushing for 5.3 yards a carry. On defense, they held the Hawkeyes at 283 yards, 133 rushing for 5.8 yards to carry. Aiden Childs, 22 of 30 passing for 256 yards with a touchdown and pick. He rushed for 51 yards in the game. Michigan fell to 4-3 with their 21-7 road defeat to Illinois. The Wolverines put up 322 yards, 114 rushing for 5.6 yards to carry. Defensively, they allowed 267 yards to the final line night with 80 passing on 19 attempts. Jack Tuttle, 20 of 32 passing for 208 yards with a pick. On the road, the Spartans are allowing 151 yards rushing for 4.1 yards per carry. And of course, in the passing game, allowing 69% completions, 7.9 yards per pass attempt. Michigan, we know, a really strong running team, running for over 5 yards a carry at home. And at home, they limit opponents at 2.8 yards per rush, 6 yards per pass attempt. Wolverines 4-1 of the spread at home. Fall in a road game. Player will be on Michigan at -5. LSU and Texas A&M college football pick Saturday. LSU now 6-1 with their 34-10 road victory at Arkansas. The Tigers gained 393 yards, 158 rushing for 4.3 yards a carry. On defense, they held the Razorbacks at 277 yards, 38 rushing for 2 yards per rush. Garrett Nussmeier, 23 of 34 passing for 233 yards. Texas A&M 6-1 with their 34-24 road win at Mississippi State. The Aggies piled up 353 yards, 136 rushing for 3.7 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 377 yards to the Bulldogs with 242 passing yards on 41 attempts. Connor Wegman, 15 of 25 passing for 217 yards with a touchdown and pick. LSU on the road has rushed for 4.3 yards a carry and getting accurate and efficient play in the passing game. On defense, away from home, the Tigers give up 4.2 yards a carry, but 257 yards passing for nearly 9 yards per pass attempt. Texas A&M in conference is rushing for 5 yards a carry and throwing for 9.7 yards per pass attempt. In the conference defensively, really good, holding teams at 2.9 yards per run, 54% completion rate. LSU 5-11 the spread away from home. The Aggies 3-0 to the spread at home, facing teams that average 425 yards per game or greater. The play here will be on Texas A&M here at -1. Penn State and Wisconsin college football pick for Saturday. Penn State now 6-0 with their 33-30 road win at USC in overtime. The Lions gained 518 yards, 118 rushing for 3.8 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 409 yards to the Trojans, with 189 rushing for 7.9 yards a carry. Drew Allar, 30 of 43 passes for 391 yards with 2 touchdowns and 3 picks. He rushed for 32 yards in the game. Wisconsin 5-2 with their 23-3 road win at Northwestern. The Badgers put up 359 yards, 199 rushing for 4.6 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 209 yards to the Wildcats, 82 passing on 24 attempts. Braden Locke here, 14 of 24 passes for 160 yards with a touchdown and a pick. He had a rushing touchdown in the game. Wisconsin against the conference is ranked for nearly 5.5 yards a carry with 235 yards passing for 8.6 yards per pass attempt. The Lions hold Big Ten teams at 4.3 yards a carry with only 51% completion rate for 5 yards per pass attempt. But Penn State runs for 4.2 yards a carry in the conference with accurate and efficient play at the quarterback position. Their defense is giving up 3.7 yards per run against the Big Ten with 65% completion rate, 6.4 yards per pass attempt. Penn State 2-4 the spread on the road against winning teams. We will take care of Wisconsin at plus the 6.5. Auburn and Kentucky college football pick Saturday. Auburn fell to 2-5 with their 21-17 road defeat to Missouri. The Tigers gained 286 yards, 110 rushing for 3 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 353 yards to the Tigers, 272 passing on 43 attempts. Payne Thorne here, 17 of 29 passing for 176 yards with a touchdown. Kentucky now 3-4, a 48-20 road defeat at Florida. The Wildcats put up 309 yards, 144 rushing for 4 yards a carry, but on defense they gave up 476 yards to the Gators, 279 yards passing on 15 attempts. Brock Vandegrift, 12 of 26 passes for 165 yards with a touchdown and 2 picks. Auburn on the road has struggled offensively, putting up 15 points per game with 3.7 yards per run and inaccuracy at the quarterback position. They struggle defending the pass on the road, allowing 256 yards with 7.1 yards per pass attempt. Kentucky has defended well at home, holding teams to 3.1 yards a carry and 141 yards passing. 4 straight losses for the Tigers, with scoring a concern. The Wildcats have a 3-point win to Ole Miss and dropped a 1-point decision here to Georgia. Play here Kentucky minus the 2.5. SMU and Duke college football pick for Saturday's action here. Oop. Maybe not. Hang on a second. Nope, we're going to go here to this one next. Kansas will be the next game here, so hang on a second. Let's get the banner up here for the Kansas game. Previous data. We were Auburn, Kentucky. Let's get you the Kansas. Here we go, Kansas here. And in the Kansas State college football pick here. This one is going off here on Saturday. All right, Kansas improved to 2-5 with their 42-14 a win to Houston. The Jayhawks gained 467 yards, 220 rushing for 6.7 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 335 yards to the Cougars with 98 rushing for 3 yards a carry. Jalen Daniels hit 16 of 21 passes for 247 yards with 3 touchdowns. He rushed for 58 yards and a score. Kansas State now 6-1, a 45-18 road win at West Virginia. The Wildcats put up 412 yards, 114 rushing for 4.4 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 295 yards to the Mountaineers with 143 yards passing on 32 attempts. Avery Johnson here, 19 of 29 passing for 298 yards and 3 touchdowns. Kansas against the Big 12 is rushing for 5.5 yards a carry, averaging 7.8 yards per pass attempt. Defense an issue as they allow 5.5 yards a carry, 8.5 yards per pass attempt. Kansas State, good offensive team against the conference. They have stopped the run effectively in conference, but allow 262 yards passing for 7.1 yards per pass attempt. The Jayhawks put up 32 points per game in conference and allowed 30. The play here will be on Kansas here at plus the 10 points. All right, we're going to get you. I guess somehow, some way, I might have missed off on the graphic here for the SMU game. It looks like. So we're going to go back to that SMU game. I'm trying to see if I have the pick graphic on there. I probably don't. That's why we're going to move ahead. Okay, let's take you back to that SMU game right now. I should have the graphic for that. It just didn't have the banner with the pick. So SMU and Duke here will be next. SMU now 6-1 after their 40-10 road win at Stanford. The Mustangs gained 501 yards, 179 rushing for 4.7 yards a carry. Defensively, they held the Cardinals to 206 yards, 33 rushing on 35 attempts. Kevin Jennings 17-27 passing for 322 yards with 3 touchdowns and a pick. Duke now 6-1, a 23-16 home win to Florida State. The Blue Devils put up 180 yards, 110 rushing for 3.1 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 291 yards to Seminoles with 162 rushing yards for 4 yards a carry. Malik Murphy here, 12-24 passing for 70 yards. SMU has sparkled in the ACC, averaging 39 points, 4.6 yards per rush, 70% completion rate for 11 yards per pass attempt. They have defended well in the conference, holding teams at 2.5 yards per run, 49% completion rate. Duke has struggled offensively in conference with 3.9 yards per rush with inaccuracy at the quarterback position. On defense, they allow 4.4 yards per rush to conference foes. Mustangs 6-3, the spread is road favorite. Play here will be on SMU here at -12. All right, next up we got San Jose State and Fresno State college football picks for Saturday. All right, we got San Jose here 5-2 with their 24-14 home victory to Wyoming. The Spartans gained 498 yards, 176 rushing for 7 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 366 yards to the Cowboys with 310 passing yards on 38 attempts. Walker Eggett, 20 of 38 passing for 318 yards with a touchdown and 2 picks. He rushed for 45 yards in the game. Fresno State has a mark of 4-3 after their 24-21 road win at Nevada. The Bulldogs gained 216 yards, 126 rushing for 3.3 yards a carry. Offensively, they allowed 295 yards to the Wolfpack with 84 rushing for 2.2 yards a carry. Mike Keene, 13-20 passing for 190 yards with an interception. San Jose State against the conference rushes for 4.2 yards a carry and has been efficient in the passing game, throwing for 315 yards, 8 yards per pass attempt. They limit Mountain West Conference opponents to 3.6 yards a carry on the ground, 59% completion rate. Fresno State's running for only 2.5 yards a carry in conference. Their defense got Mountain West really struggles, giving up over 4.5 yards a carry, 66% completions for nearly 8 yards per pass attempt. The Spartans 6-2 the spread as a underdog. Fresno State 5-8 to the spread as a home favorite. Player will be on San Jose State at +5. All right, we got Cincinnati and Colorado college football pick Saturday. Cincinnati is now 5-2 with their 24-14 home win to Arizona State. The Bearcats gained 397 yards, 191 rushing for 5 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 346 yards to the Sun Devils with 191 rushing for 4.8 yards a carry. Brendan Torsby here, 23-31 passing for 206 yards with an interception. He had 2 rushing touchdowns. Colorado 5-2 with their 34-7 road win at Arizona. The Buffs put up 398 yards, 148 rushing for 3.8 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 245 yards to the Wildcats with 138 passing on 26 attempts. Jador Sanders here, 23-33 passing for 250 yards with 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. He had a rushing touchdown. Bearcats offense has performed well against the Big 12 with 4 yards per rush, 71% completion rate, 8.2 yards per pass attempt. The team averages 272 yards passing in conference. Defensively, they allow conference foes 5 yards to carry, but only 59% completions. Colorado struggles to run the football against the Big 12, but has an accurate and efficient passing game. The pass defense allows 7.5 yards per attempt. Colorado has conference losses to Nebraska and Kent State. Play will be Cincinnati at +6.5. All right, next up we have Washington State and San Diego State college football pick. This one here on Saturday. All right, Washington State now 6-1 with their 42-10 home win to Hawai'i. The Cougars gained 444 yards, 123 rushing for 3.3 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 300 yards to the Warriors with their 96 passing yards on 30 attempts. John Mateer, 23-27 passes for 295 yards and 3 touchdowns. He rushed for 34 yards and 2 scores. San Diego State now 3-3, a 27-24 road win at Wyoming. The Aztecs produced 356 yards, 102 rushing for 2.9 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 371 yards to the Cowboys with 190 rushing, first 4.6 yards a carry. Danny O'Neal, 16 to 27 passing for 254 yards with a touchdown and pick. The Cougars have struggled defensively on the road, giving 5.5 yards per rush, 67% completion rate for nearly 8 yards per pass attempt. Away from home, they rushed for only 3.5 yards a carry with a 56% completion rate. The Aztecs passing game has really shown improvement over their past 3 games, completing 65% of their passes, 8.7 yards per pass attempt. Defensively in this span, they allowed 3.8 yards a carry with 52% completion rate. Player will be on San Diego State at +14. All right, next up, here's Nevada versus Hawai'i college football pick. This one on Saturday. Nevada fell to 3-5 with their 24-21 home defeat to Fresno State. The Wolfpack put up 295 yards, 84 rushing for 2.2 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 316 yards to the Bulldogs, 190 passing on 20 attempts. Brendan Lewis, questionable with that head injury, took a helmet-to-helmet contact there in that game in their last game against Fresno State. We got Chubby Purdy relieved, went 3 of 5 for 53 yards. Purdy is a Nebraska transfer who struggled with inaccuracy and turnovers. Hawai'i now 2-5 with a 42-10 road defeat to Washington State. The Warriors produced 300 yards with 104 rushing for 4.7 yards to carry. On defense, so they gave 444 yards to the Cougars with 321 yards passing on 29 attempts. Braden Shager, 20 of 30 passing for 106 yards with a touchdown and interception. Nevada has struggled on the ground against the Mountain West with 3.7 yards to carry. Defensively, they're allowing conference foes 258 yards with 7.8 yards per pass attempt. Nevada has a good passing attack under Lewis, but Purdy is a huge downgraded quarterback. Hawai'i in conference struggled offensively, 2.1 yards a carry, 15.5 points a game, but defensively they hold teams to 4.4 yards per rush, but 7.1 yards per pass attempt. Purdy may not be able to exploit this defense based on his poor track record with other schools, so we'll take Hawai'i here at -2. For more free pick videos, be sure to subscribe to our channel. And if you're looking for my best bets, my premium picks, click that link in the description. That'll take you to my page here at Tony'sPicks.com. If you like this video, appreciate that we're putting in here, give us a thumbs up. You really help our channel. I'm Tony T. We'll talk to you later.